Yeah.
Even in the US, there are a lot of, we call the homeschool or word school meetups. When people are traveling and they are in the US, somebody always doing a meetup. So I've met some nice friends that way too. Because you are local and don't have to travel too far, but still get to meet those wonderful people and hear their experience.
Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Communities podcast, a place where real homeschool families share their stories and the heart behind their decision to educate at home. At Thrive Communities, our mission is to support and connect homeschool families in a community where children and parents can truly thrive. Whether you are new to homeschooling, considering it, or have been on the journey for years, we're so glad you're here.
Welcome to the Thrive Communities podcast. My name is Rochelle Lasky. I am privileged to be the host today, and my special guest is Carla Tappen. Welcome, Carla.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I am so excited to get into this conversation with you. So, for those who may not be familiar, what is world schooling? This is part of your story, I know.
Yeah, so word schooling, it's when you choose the world to teach your children. For example, my son, he wanted to learn about volcanoes. So instead of getting a book, going to the library and teach him about volcanoes, so we went to a country. We went to Nicaragua and we visited volcanoes. We walked, we hiked, we saw it in action. So that's word schooling. You let the globe teach you.
That's incredible. How many kids get to say that they go to see a volcano in action, right? Wow. That's amazing. So what inspired your family to choose world schooling?
Well, I grew up in Brazil. I was born and raised there, and then moved to America, and I've been here for a long time, and I love it here. But I was always thinking, my son has everything, and he has a good life. And one day I was start thinking, how do I teach him empathy? Because you can't teach; they have to learn that. So I decided to start traveling with him and go and stays with the locals and small villages so he could learn on his own how to be compassionate.
That's amazing. I think that's so true, right? Empathy and learning about other people is something that you can't teach in a classroom. You have to just go do it and experience it, right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. How would you say that world schooling differs from traditional homeschooling?
Uh, it's like I said, you just leave it. It's hands-on all the time. It's very different. We don't even carry book when we travel. It's just whatever happens. And I think you have to be very open because sometimes you have plans of doing things or going to visit places just doesn't go the way you want. So you have to be flexible and you just go with the flow. But wonderful things happen along the way.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
the beauty of
sure.
it.
So what have been some of your most memorable learning experiences that your son has had while you're traveling?
Yes, I would say the most memorable trip was in the Sahara Desert when we stayed with the nomads. I would say that was the best one we had it.
Oh my goodness, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we were all set to go to Costa Rica. And then I came across this lady on Facebook that she was living in Morocco. She was living there with the nomads. And I start talking to her, and she says, "Just come. My kids are coming too, and we will just travel together." So I thought it was an opportunity that I couldn't miss. So we went and we met there. She was wonderful. She was living in a very small village, and we volunteer. We stay with them, and then they just took us to spend some times in the desert with the nomads. And it was very different. My son was young and not having a bathroom and having to cook your own food on the floor. So it was very interesting, but I think he grew a lot as a person and he still talks about it. He remembers. I would say that was our best trip.
That's amazing. How long did you stay there?
We stayed there for quite a few weeks,
Okay.
just traveling with like in small groups around the desert. That was really fun.
Wow, what an amazing experience. So, what subjects or skills do you think that your son has learned through that travel?
I would say to learn how to be patient, to have more flexibility, like I said before, things happen. And I would say for me to have more tolerance towards everything, because we're traveling with people, and we have bad days and good days, and it's different, but it was good. It was a really wonderful growth for all of us.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that flexibility is something that is also more just taught as you experience it, right? And
Yes.
travel gives you a lot of opportunities to be patient and flexible. And I think that teaches kids a lot too, right? And just building
Yes, it
resilience.
does. Sometimes you think you're flexible until you start traveling and everything doesn't go as planned.
Exactly. How do you balance the academics with the exploration and adventure? Because you said you don't really travel with books, you're more just in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Experiencing things, learning those life lessons and skills.
I think there's people don't understand when you travel, you learn a lot more than you think. Yes, we don't have books, but just be able to navigate airports or different languages and cultures, go to a place where you never been before, you just learn a lot. And even cooking, when my son was cooking with the nomads in the desert, we did not speak the language at all. They have their own dialects, but we have to count how many people, how much food we're going to make. You just learn as you go. And I would say you learn. It's hard to explain, but once it's hands-on, you just learn better.
Right, right. What would you give for advice for someone who's interested in world schooling for the first time?
I would say to visit a hub. Hubs are groups of people, they are in other countries, and it's easier to start that way. So there are, for example, a lot of Americans in a hub in Mexico. That's how I started. I went there, they have summits where they have people speaking and everybody's there to learn. So they will explain how things work, and you can just meet very nice people. I would say that made me more comfortable to just keep going on my own. And
Wow,
it's nice, even once you're doing for a long time, it's still nice to have that group of people that you connect with.
I bet. Yeah, so you kind of feel like you still have a home base with the hub, but you're still
Yes.
doing your own thing.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
we have a home and we just travel now in smaller periods of time. But I have friends, they don't even have homes. They just sold everything. They've been traveling for 10 years. And they also enjoy when they go to those hubs. You feel, because sometimes you meet people around the world and you don't see them again. But when they have events on those hubs, everybody trying to go and meet up. So it's very nice.
That's amazing. That really gives you a sense of community, even though you're out, right? Traveling the world, experiencing things, but you still feel like you have a place to belong.
Yes.
Yeah, I never
And
even
I have
heard.
friends.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't know that the hubs existed. That's really cool.
Yes, and it's all over the world. And I have friends that have teenagers now and older, like older kids, young adults, and they start being part of it, and they travel with the people they like, the other teenagers that they meet on those hubs. It's
Oh,
very interesting. Yes, it's a
that is
wonderful community.
awesome. Yeah, our family prioritizes travel a lot too. We've really only done one stint of world schooling, if you will, which was
Mhm.
about a month abroad. But we do smaller trips here in the U.S. and things, and it's really given our kids a lot of those same life skills and just feeling confident about themselves, and learning things that you
Yes.
can't teach in a book. And I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even in the US, there are a lot of, we call the homeschool or word school meetups. When people are traveling and they are in the US, somebody always doing a meetup. So I've met some nice friends that way too. Because you are local and don't have to travel too far, but still get to meet those wonderful people and hear their experience.
Yes, that is so great. What do you think that world schooling has taught you as a parent?
As a parent.
Yeah.
I would say, besides everything I spoke with the patience and tolerance, as a parent, to get to know my child. And I'm very happy that he doesn't go to school just because I want to spend more time with him.
Right.
And traveling, you just see a different part of your child when you travel. It's different.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's wonderful.
I know. And I
Things you
would,
don't even think about it.
yeah, all those shared experiences and bonding over the times when you have to be patient, the times that things go wrong, right? But you
Yes.
persevere. Yeah.
I call it the children's language because we have been to places where they could not speak the same word and they just play. And we have a thing, my son brings Spot, you know that game Spotted?
Yeah.
It's very easy to play and it's very easy to explain. You don't need to know the other children's language. You just explain by, gesture. And everywhere we go, we bring Spotted and then they just play and they all love it. And just, seeing the kids playing and they speak a different language and just say, Spotted. It's so cute.
That is a really cool way to bring the kids together.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so
I
smart.
would say that's a perfect game because you don't have to explain any rules.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, I've gotten to know you as you have become involved with Thrive Communities. So how did you first get connected to Thrive?
I first got connected. I met Kim and I started doing their weekly meetups and field trips. And my son was already on the waiting list to start at Thrive for when they would start in the Jacksonville area. So we are super excited.
That's awesome. And now you've progressed to becoming a program lead who runs a campus. So what do you love most about working in a community with those homeschool families?
I love for the kids to have a place to go. And especially as they get older, it's hard for them to find friends, to find a place. For the older kids, they just can go to a playground and meet some friends. It's hard. They get shy. I would say it's wonderful for them to go there. And again, it's hands-on experience. They learn a lot more that way. So they have their friends, and for the parents, they have a break. As a homeschool moms, they are always on the go. They're always doing things with the kids. So I always tell them, take a break. Don't go run errands.
Right?
Go for a walk on the beach and do something for yourself. At least once in a while, you deserve it.
That's right, for sure. I love that because you're right. Kids need, especially as they get older, they need a way to connect with peers at their same age and level in that sense of community, which you have managed to find all over the world through the hubs and all of that, making friends, wherever you go. But I love that now you're plugged in that Jacksonville, Florida community and giving especially these older kids an opportunity to make friends and connect. That's amazing. Yeah. And like you said, homeschool moms need a break, right? We are out there busy helping our kids learn and navigate the world. And it's good for us to take a break too, in a drop-off program like Thrive. That's so good. How can programs like Thrive complement a family's unique homeschool approach, whether they're traditional homeschoolers, unschoolers, world schoolers, because there's so many ways to school nowadays. How do you feel like Thrive complements someone's unique family journey?
I think it's because we have a good balance. We teach the children there, and they also have to do something at home like math and language arts. So I like that because it gives the parents the control to do that, especially with math and grammar or writing, because children can be in different levels of learning. And at Thrive, they only do the fun things, right? They do the science, the history, the art and literature. And I love that because there's no competition. It doesn't matter where you are on your level of understanding. Everybody can do their science project or the history project. And we are so flexible with our lessons that I feel like there's room to do more at home if the parent desire. But if not, they still get a full year of learning. And if they go away, they can come back and they just start where they left off because they don't feel like they miss much because every lesson stands alone.
Exactly.
So I love that.
Yes, I know it really does provide that flexibility for families who travel or they like to learn in non-traditional ways. They want to take their kid to a volcano because they learn about volcanoes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that is awesome. Why do you think, as someone who has traveled extensively and kind of lived life on the go for a while, why do you think that community is still an important part of homeschooling?
I would say to support one another. We all need it. We all need a group of people. It doesn't matter if it's those hubs around the world or if it's down the street where you live. We all need a community. The children need that. They need to know that they belong somewhere. It doesn't matter where it is, but it's important. To me, it's important that the children see each other in a regular base. Like for Thrive, it's been very helpful to our family because as my son gets older, he goes twice a week, he sees his friends, he loves it. He's learned, but at the same time, he's making friends. And I think that's one of the most important things for us.
Yeah, definitely. So in this stage of life, how do you balance the academics with the exploration and adventure? How has your family navigated that?
So we use the times that we have off. And again, it's only 2 days at Thrive. So it's easy to make like a very long week. So we do that, and we use the spring breaks and the time off to just keep going. As I said, my son gets older and he's involved with a lot of sports and friends. We don't travel like for long periods of time anymore. I would say like 2 weeks. It's our time frame, and it works well with Thrive.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would you give for advice if a family's interested in trying world schooling?
I would say go for it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
People are afraid to travel the world. We hear horrible stories, but it's not. It's wonderful. We have never had a bad experience anywhere we have been. None of my friends had. You just have to be cautious. You need to know where you're going. But I would say most of the place and most of the people you're going to encounter are nice. And you're just going to remember forever those experiences.
For sure. It's like embedded into them, right? When you travel,
Yes.
like those memories, they don't go away.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say try to go to places where tourists are not going. Try to stay in small villages with little towns. I would say you get the most of your travel that way.
Do you feel like then you really get embedded into the culture and see how people live differently than us?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's most of the times those places are safer than tourist areas anyway.
That makes sense. Yeah. What do you think is, besides what you just said, other things that you've really gotten out of like living in the smaller villages and just kind of really embracing a different culture?
Yes, I would say to learn the cultures and seeing my kid not be able to judge anybody. When we spent time with the Mayans in Mexico, I remember we had to cook. We have to use our hands, and there's no kitchen, right? So everybody's outside cutting vegetables and mixing and making tamales, and then open a hole on the ground and just cook it that way. And people are different or didn't have shoes or living in huts that is just it's a roof with a hammock and a stove. And my son never made a comment about where we live and where those people live, or how they move from one place to the other, or how they dress. So it was very nice that he just accepted people as they are. No judgment, no looking for anything. So I thought that was the most important thing to me.
For sure. Like people can live differently and they can still have a beautiful life, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And I remember once I was talking, somebody was translating with this lady, and she had a little hut, and she wakes up 5:00 in the morning to ground corn to make tortillas. And she said, I don't want to have what you have. I don't want to work and stay away from my family so I can have a little bit more. I'm happy. I'm content. I eat every day and I have time to spend with my family. So that has made me start looking at life in a different way.
Yeah.
It's like I do want to spend time with my son. And that's why we chose to not send him to school, because I wanted to get to know him. If you think about it, we only have, somebody once told, we have 18 summers, right, with our children. It's like, I want to really get to know my son.
Yeah. Isn't that such a great benefit of homeschooling, that we have all that intentional time with our kids, right? Because it does go so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like even in traveling, you really just maximize the time even more, because you're in it together, right? Every moment of the day, navigating it as a family. I think that's a really beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
What do you think is a misconception that people have about world schooling?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say people ask me, and they think that world schooling don't know things. They don't know how to read. They don't do math, and that's not true. They speak many languages,
right?
Yes, they know so much. And they remember history because they lived, they walk, in those places, and they know a lot. They
Yeah.
might not be able to sit down for a test the way, the traditional schools think about it, that you have to measure learning.
Yeah.
But they know a lot.
Yeah, right. Just that real world experience, I think, is so valuable. And I tell my kids too, as we've traveled, that my experience with history in particular was that it was very dry and sort of distant from me because I couldn't touch the Colosseum or I couldn't see a volcano, like thinking of Pompeii or something like that. But when they've been in places that have historical significance, it's so much more real to them. And then they actually care about their learning. That's what I have found.
And they will remember.
Yes.
They will remember that they went there, but they're not going to remember if they just read on a book.
Exactly. Yeah. And it helps them make connections with the real world, don't you think?
Yes, I do. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. So if you could give a piece of encouragement to a parent who's considering homeschooling, what would it be?
Do it from your heart.
Oh, I
would say that especially for moms that have worked as a teacher or work in a school, don't teach your children from a teacher's mind. Do it from a mother's heart.
Oh, I love
you
that.
know your child better. And there's no rules. There's nothing that they'll go beyond what you know about your child. They're all going to be different. And it's going to change. It happens to me still. It's my 8th year now homeschooling. Every year is different.
Yes.
I have to change. I have to modify because as human, we change.
Exactly. And your kids need different things from you, right? Even in their personal lives, in their school lives. Yeah.
And that was one thing that I've learned this lady speaking in one of those Worldschooling hubs, because I was upset that my son wanted to quit one of the sports because, we thought it was important for him to not quit and to stick with something. And this lady said, no, let him do what he wants. Once you pay for something, you sign up for something, if that's gone, like the money's gone, your time is gone. If he goes through it, it's one thing. If he doesn't, it's all good. Because the best way is when you go for something, you do it. But if you are done, you are done. If you keep pushing, you keep forcing your child to do something, they're not going to like it anymore.
That is really
good. That completely changed.
Yes. It's very freeing, right?
Yes.
Wow. That's really good. What do you think something is in your homeschooling? What's something that it has given your family that you didn't expect?
Giving my family, I would say time. As a family, as in a community, we have a lot more time to meet up with friends.
Yeah.
And also to explore things. Even my son with his friends, they have been through so much hobbies. And they go head on. They really wanted to know and learn everything about it. But then after a while, that's it.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like that having a community, he found other kids with the same interest in, and they explore together and then they move on to something else.
That is so cool to have the time to be able to explore those things, right? Yes. Those curiosities and hobbies and things that maybe he's interested in now, and 6 months from now, it won't be as interesting to him, but that's okay. At least he explored it, right?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I have some rapid fire questions for you here. So,
yeah, sure.
What is your favorite country that you've ever visited?
I would say Morocco, first one, second one, Iceland.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. What's the most surprising thing that you've learned while traveling?
While you're traveling? Food.
Ooh, tell me more.
Yes. Things that I never thought about eating, and then I did, and I like it. I would say just trying food everywhere you go, even if it sounds nasty or...
Is there something that you have eaten that you were shocked that you even tried?
There are things I don't even know what I was eating. So I don't question much, but I would say fruits are the best everywhere you go if you just eat fruit. And it's good.
Yes, because it's so fresh, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And there's nothing questionable about that.
Okay, window seat or aisle seat? What's your preference?
Window.
Okay. What's your favorite educational field trip destination?
If it's around here, I would say forts. It's really good to learn about the history.
Oh, very
Where
cool.
you are.
Yeah, the forts. That's awesome. One thing that every homeschool family should experience.
Travel.
Obviously.
Travel, yes.
Yeah.
But even like if you can go travel far, look for homeschool hubs in the US.
Okay.
I met some wonderful people here in Florida, and we just met for those hubs, and some people continue where they travel, but we live here and we are still friends. So experience that.
That is awesome. And what's your dream destination for another world schooling adventure in the future?
Africa.
Africa. Anywhere in particular that you want to go or something?
Yes, I have a friend. She's from Kenya and she's planning a trip. So hopefully it's going to happen soon.
Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. And I'm sure you'll do a safari if you go to Kenya, right?
Yes.
Oh.
But she helps like those little villages to build schools.
Oh.
Yes. So I'm super excited to go with her so I can see the schools and everything she's done for those villages. So that's exciting.
That's awesome. That reminds me, sometimes our family will do like kind of part service trip, part travel. Have you ever done anything like that?
Yes, every time we travel, we trying to do volunteer work, and it's just to stay with them, like with the locals, and also to give it back to the community. Yeah,
I've heard the term voluntourism, and I think it's a beautiful blend, at least for our family. It's been awesome to be able to then pour into a community where we're enjoying some travel, but then we can also pour into the locals in some way, whether it's, feeding or building something or just helping, serving in some way. I think it really enriches the experience. Has it been like that for you too?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And you get time to spend with the people from there.
Right.
Which that's the most important too.
Right? To just see them as people, right?
Yes. And you get to talk, and I'm sure they're so grateful that you are helping them.
Yeah.
That's where magic happens.
Right? That is where the magic happens. I love that. All right. My closing question for you, Carla. If you could leave homeschool families with one message about learning, community, and raising curious kids, what would it be?
Stop questioning yourself. Just do it. We all question if we are doing enough, if it's the right amount, if our kids are learning. They are. And I would say just don't question yourself. Go for it, and everything will fall into place.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here today on Thrive Communities podcast. Yes. Thank you, Carla.
Yes, thank you. So happy to be here and happy to be part of Thrive.
If this episode encouraged you, share it with another family who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. We'll see you next time.